Hi, welcome. It's time for my campaign update for today. My name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. I am a presidential candidate from the 2024 presidential election, and I am not, or I have not conceded the election because it is fraudulent. And I have a lawsuit pending with the Supreme Court because not only did my vote not get counted according to my state, but many other votes, and sadly, a lot of them seem to be female votes. So I don't know what's going on, but this is unacceptable. That is unacceptable to not count votes from U.S. citizens, and especially if you think you're representing us when you're not. And then we are paying taxes. So that is taxation without representation. Now, as you know, I have a lawsuit pending with the Supreme Court. I am waiting for them to deliver the verdict from my lawsuit. And I hope they do it soon. I am not happy with the news from today. What Israel is doing is unthinkable. And yeah, we got huge problems, folks. And so, I want to go back and just reread a little bit with some comments about our Constitution of the United States of America. Now, what you have to realize is that this was the second document. Our country was all actually founded with a different document, and that was decided at some point it was not working because it gave too much power to the states, and there was not enough centralization, and there was no money for doing things federally. So the original document, which I actually have never read, so maybe I should read it a little. But anyway, that document got overridden by the Constitution, which is the one that we go by now. So the original document was called the Articles of Confederation and a Perpetual Union. So now some people say union like it's a union, which I mean, sort of it is, but it's a union of different states or countries is what they really were sort of like at that time, coming together for common issues. And that was created, agreed upon, and ratified. So it was agreed upon in 1777 and ratified in 1781. So, yeah. So technically, March 1st, 1781 was when the first document sort of became in use, the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union between the states of, and then they list the states. And then some years later came our current Constitution, which I don't have the exact information here. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's back here. So, okay. So they're not listing it. But it was. Why am I not finding that information here? It's a bit annoying. I guess it's in this part. done in convention by unanimous consent of the states presented in the 17th day of September in the year 1787, and of the independence of the United States of America, and the 12 in witness of who is here. So, so what I want to do is just read the opening, the preamble, which is sort of the blueprint for the rest of the document. So the rest of the document has the details. This is sort of what our country was supposed to be about. So we, the people, that means you and me, we're supposed to have a say. And, technically nobody ever asked me. So maybe that's our first problem. Of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, so oftentimes people who are union fans talk about the union, but I think it is a little bit that, but it's more a union, people coming together from diverse backgrounds. And in this case, it was the states coming together from diverse land and backgrounds and histories and way of doing business. So a more perfect union, because they already had one, but it wasn't working perfectly, was it? Is to establish justice. So that's clear. So you have to have rules so that everybody knows how to play the game, right? It's a game, and you got to know the rules. Ensure domestic tranquility. So ensure means to make sure that it's happening, domestic tranquility. That means domestic peace, not only between the states, but in the towns and even in the homes. And domestic violence is happening on a regular basis. So I'm going to say we're failing at the domestic tranquility. And part of domestic tranquility is also to help with the justice part. But my experience is that the police force has no power to truly enforce tranquility. So we've already got a problem because we're not able to fulfill domestic tranquility. And we don't even have it. We don't have it because we're not investing in it, really. Our country is a shambles. I've been all over it for the last year, and I've seen how so many areas are broken and falling apart, and it's unacceptable. And this is your taxpayer money that your Democrats and Republicans have been spending on their bank, on their paychecks and their benefits, and poo-poo on the rest of us. So, they're doing a lousy job, the Democrats and Republicans. They like to look like they're doing something, but they're not. And then we have provide for a common defense, not offense. We're not supposed to go out and aggressively go and attack other people. And we're certainly not supposed to be giving money to other countries for war. That's not defense. That's not defense. So before World War I, we were a neutral country. And we need to go back to that. We need to go back to being a neutral country and mind our own business and let Europe take care of their own problems and, leave Asia alone. I mean, we are part of the problem anyways, because we refuse to identify Taiwan as a country. and we refuse to identify Palestine as a country. So we are the problem, and we need to correct that, and then we need to become neutral. Because it's common defense. Common defense. Not offense. Defense. Write it down. Promote the general welfare. So, I might want to go back to domestic tranquility for a minute, because we don't even have domestic tranquility in the households. The most dangerous person to any woman is their spouse or significant other. And this is unacceptable. I mean, I know a lot of you men think that women are just disposable and, who cares, right? Because it's just a woman. But women care, and it's time that you care too. So we are not... we are part of domestic tranquility. And domestic violence clearly states that there's a problem with the domestic tranquility part. So we need to help women to separate their roles in the household. There is a woman who is herself. Then there is the choice of becoming a mother or not becoming a mother. And with that choice, she can decide if she wants to be a wife as well, which is a whole nother role, or not. But to trap a woman to a man or significant other who is playing the provider role, and then having her be a mother and then not getting paid for that, we're trapping her into slavery to whoever she's attached to, and domestic violence is rampant then. So we need to help the mother to be independent from the role of wife. So mother is a separate job altogether. So women can decide to be a mother and then go through the training and do that. Women can decide to be a wife. That's up to them, And if they choose to be a mother, they still need to be standalone so that they can walk away from abuse and violence if they have to. This is unacceptable, what has been going on in our country since before I was born, but the fact that it's existing today on the level it is, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So we are failing at domestic tranquility. We are failing at common defense, because also, we can't even defend our mothers against their abusers. I know a lot of you men don't think that women are even citizens, maybe, but you're wrong. We are. We can get passports. We're citizens. And citizens like us produce citizens for the future. So you cannot not be a citizen and yet produce citizens. So it doesn't make sense. So anyway, we got a problem because you're not defending us against our enemy, which is oftentimes our spouses. So shame on you for overlooking everything else and going and attacking people in other countries before you help your own women. Just shame on you. Shame on you. So, promote the general welfare. So, welfare is like the lower end. That's for in case everything falls apart, you land somewhere on your feet. That's what welfare is for. That's for the people who are drug addicts, who, get addicted and then they lose their homes and they have no money because they spend it all on drugs. That's what welfare is, general welfare, the general public support system. It's not for mothers. Mothers do not belong on that list. Mothers need a dignified salary and provided an education And I want honor signs up in the towns for mothers who have done great deeds, or mothers who have died in childbirth, or anything. I want these memorials. It's time that we honor the mother, the creator of citizens. Write it down. Every town. I want memorials to mothers. So, general welfare. That also means fixing the freaking roads, you know. I don't know what you men are doing, but we seem to have too many men with like high degrees that can't fix a road. And we don't need that. So part of the domestic tranquility and the general welfare is to start giving educations that actually matter. Because learning how to debate is not going to change the lives of many people. But knowing how to fix a road will. So what is more important? So general welfare includes roads, tunnels, bridges, buildings. Also for the handicapped. You know, people in wheelchairs have to be able to get to a building and get inside. People who are blind have to be able to get to a building and get inside. So, you know, pavement has to be flat. I don't know. Just a little bit common sense, maybe. Then secure the blessings of liberty. So supposedly we're free and we have rights. And so far, this is also failing because my vote was not counted last November. I'm a citizen. I voted. I could prove it right there. And they threw out my vote in West Virginia. And I'm not the only one. They threw out other women's votes. And they didn't count many other citizens' votes. And this is just unacceptable. And then we know, because last year they announced that like 24 states had illegal names on their voting registration list, and they allowed those people to vote. So people who weren't even citizens were voting in the election last year. Those votes counted, but mine, a U.S. citizen and a woman, did not. So we're failing at that, securing my liberties as a citizen. I mean, we're really failing almost everything on the list. We got real problems, U.S. We do. And we're supposed to be securing these liberties for ourselves and our children. But if we can't even do it for ourselves, what hope do our children have? So we do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So I guess this was only for the very first year of, or as long as the people who signed it were alive. As soon as they all died, then I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? It's a piece of shit. Okay, so yeah, this is where I am. My rights are being violated. Your rights are being violated. Our government is no longer working for us, and they're not even representing us. And this is unacceptable. It's happening in every state, and it's happening on the federal level. And I'm going to say that most of the states are even worse. Power corrupts 100%. And this is where the problem lies. We got a lot of power-hungry people who have taken over our country hostilely. They're called the Democrats and Republicans, and they need to be kicked out of office. Shame on them. we need to come up with a new form of government, and we need to do it sooner than later. And we need a new election sooner than later, because everyone in office is illegally there. So, I wish I had better news for you, but I don't. I will tell you that this is my second town hall for today. I actually threw out the first one. I decided to make this one instead. So, what's going to happen is, I'm declaring independence, and I'm declaring grievances. I'm still working on that document. Plus, domestic tranquility is desperately needed for women. So that's going to be the name of the organization. Domestic tranquility. Because it's right there in the Constitution that we're supposedly following, but we're not. And, I am just overwhelmed with the amount of corruption. I mean, just every day, every page that I turn, there's just more garbage, more corruption, more elitism. Yeah. This is just terrible. It's terrible what's going on. Okay, so sorry to be such a downer, but anyway, that's how it goes. My name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. I am a presidential candidate from the 2024 presidential election. My website is susan4usa.com. That's Susan, the number 4usa.com. Thank you for listening. Write this down. Write it all down. Re-listen to this if you have to. What's going on is unacceptable. Okay, I wish you all a wonderful day, evening, whenever you see this. I did have an earlier one out, but it wasn't uploading, and I decided that this one was more important, so I got rid of that one, and now I'm releasing this one. Okay, all the best to you. And I'm doing my best, but I have to admit, it is tiring to constantly say the same thing and not having anything happen. And, when you approach the courts, you think they're going to help you, and they're not. They don't. And they just keep going on with their cheating, lying, and stealing. And it's unacceptable. Okay. Again, I gotta go. And you too. Bye.